What's going on, guys, and welcome to the third video of today and what matters most, our first look at every single hero change to come to season 6 and our first balance patch in 2026 in Marvel Rivals. I do think Deadpool said it best after he releases Who Wants to Play with these losers anyway, but you know, you got Gambit and Invis taking a big hit, Vanguard's getting a lot of love, and Daredevil he's just hit right in the lawyers. We got a lot to talk about. Let's jump in. All right, so we kick things off with the Vanguards, and they did tease a couple of these in the dev vision, and we start with Angela. Now, they're going to be making it slightly easier to knock Angela out of the fray, and they're going to be doing this by reducing her shield value from 350 down to 300, which is kind of a 2-for-1 nerf, because obviously when you take damage with the shield, you're going to gain more momentum with her primary jab, and definitely kind of messes up some of what she does so well. You know, obviously her overall survivability is going to go a bit down in some matchups that she does have, and I think that was their overall goal. She is clearly like the best, or right there with the best dive tanks in the game, but you know, it kind of stinks she is taking a nerf, I'll be honest. It's not going to massively, I think, change her presence in the meta. She's still very good in the maps that she, you know, should be good in. If you suck with her, you're still going to suck with her. And if you're great with her, you should be just fine. But if you really want to focus it, I would say like some matchups, depending on the hero, is obviously going to lose a little bit of its value that Angela can get versus them. Next up, we go to Steve Rogers, Captain America, which I think this is the first time he's getting a buff in a while. It's time for a little more Star-Spangled offense, all right? So they're going to reduce Vibranium Energy Saw, which I just love how they assume people just know these ability names, which I happen to because I cast the game, you know, for a living. But the cooldown's going from 8 seconds to 6 seconds, and this is his shield throw. And that's a big cooldown. That going down a full 2 seconds and just being able to finish off targets or engage or get ult. There's a ton of ways to use this properly, and I think this is a very good buff for Captain America without like messing with his survivability, which they did a ton in previous nerfs and buffs before. Doctor Strange is definitely one of those heroes that is probably the most need or close to it in the Vanguard slot, because he's kind of this portal machine that's like his main shtick. I know a lot of people even want, when you switch to him, to have a portal cooldown of some kind and then maybe give him more buffs to compensate. Either way, they're going to be buffing him. Sorcerer Supreme is more agile and dangerous than ever. Okay, so they're going to increase the Maelstrom of Madness conversion ratio of dark magic to damage from 1.2 to 1.3. I think that's like, what, an 8% increase if my math checks out. And that's obviously going to be pretty good. I think they've increased this a couple of times, so that AoE pop that you get from, you know, using your primary, going to be all that much better for, you know, damage and ult charge conversion and finishing off people, especially good in the Agamotto. Cloak of Levitation. Okay, new effect. Recasting during the use now interrupts the ability. Okay, preserves current movement speed and allows for more new movement input to change trajectory. Okay, so this is kind of like the Thor hammer change, kind of. I like this. This is actually solid. So it's very predictable when Strange uses Cloak of Levitation. He goes up, people aim up, and they kill you. Now you could be shifty and make like kind of shifty escapes. You can use this way more with the Agamottos, and I think this is going to make him more agile, because he's kind of a sitting duck in a lot of situations with his big-ass shield, and after that, it's going to be tough. So this, to me, reads that he's going to be able to kind of like go up, over, or, you know, up and stay up, or whatever you want to do as him to engage or disengage. This is nice. I was not expecting that. I like the change a lot. Emma Frost, my friends, the White Queen's energy gain gets a little more dazzling. So Emma Frost is getting a buff. God forbid she's like even low quality S tier. So increase energy gain just on her primary. Hero hits are going to go from 10 to 12. That's great. That's fantastic and kind of insane. Her pole crystal thing is going to go from 15 to 18. And then the shield hits from 5 to 6. So overall, her energy gain to, you know, cap out to Super Saiyan mode of 100 is going to gain it that much faster. And as you guys know, she can just rip through people pretty easily when this thing is maxed out or even close to it. This is very good. This is nothing but a huge buff for Emma Frost, and I'm sure people that maintain to play Mother are going to be pretty damn happy. Now, I don't know, but I'm going to take a stab that there's maybe going to be a new super sexy hot Emma Frost skin that just happens to come out with the buff. We'll have to see. The Incredible Hulk. I take everything back about Doctor Strange. This, by far, this is the Vanguard that needed the most love. And I haven't read it yet, but I still feel like they need to kind of give him some kind of rage meter, like rework him a little bit, but let's see what they do. Stronger than ever, Hulk survivability and threat level gets a gamma boost. Okay. Reduce hero Hulk incredible leap minimum charge time from half a second to 0.04 seconds. Maximum charge time from 2 seconds down to 1.7. Okay, so they just want to maintain this guy is just like leapfrogging all over the map. He is just super mobile that way. And 0.4 seconds is insane. That's a ton of just incredible leaps that are going to happen. And the max charge time going down 0.3 seconds is also very significant. In Hero Hulk form, so Hulk, reduce Gamma Burst cooldown from 8 seconds to 6 seconds, so his clap, and increase projectile damage from 70 to 75. And remember, they just boost the Gamma Burst to help with the bubble, so you're going to continue really feeding his entire kit, and that's a big damage boost and cooldown reduction. I think he's going to be pretty damn annoying. We'll have to see how this kind of works out. But I don't know. It still just doesn't feel like the Hulk to me, but I think this might serve the purpose. You know, he's still an ult battery most of the time, but again, we'll see how it shakes out. In Monster Hulk form, the Hulk is now immune to launch and knockback effects. So that's a bare minimum. If Groot can get it by, putting up some, freaking wood, Monster Hulk should have this too. So that is a bare minimum change that I think had to happen and is definitely going to help him out. Especially with all the crazy launch and knockbacks in the game now. Do I think this is going to make Hulk meta? I don't think so. But also, dude, I have to just see this in practice because I think this clap with the reduction, with the increased damage as well, and the constant leaping is going to be kind of nuts. And that's going to be it for the Vanguards. Kind of surprised that there was no other tweaks, especially to Rogue. I'm not saying that, she needs a huge boost. I thought maybe the cooldowns would get slightly decreased. Ever so slightly, but that is not the case, which I think is like the first time, I guess outside of Gambit 2, a new hero hasn't gotten love immediately, but she's still very good, so don't get me wrong, and it's all about kind of who she's played with and whatnot. But we move on to Duelist, guys. Black Panther. Here we go, guys. King of Wakanda finally showing up in the patch notes. I think it's been a year, I kid you not, since this guy's been adjusted outside of like his Hulk team up. Which, who gives a damn? Okay, Black Panther, Wakanda forever. Fantastic. Panthers' offense and defense are slightly up. Increased spear toss damage from 45 to 50. That's a welcome change. All that burst damage is always good in his kit. So that's definitely going to be solid with his wombo combos. Gain 50% damage reduction in his ult startup animation. That was highly needed. It's like Tremble before Bast, and no one's trembling. No one cares. You just completely melt this guy, right? Like you say in front of Frank Castle, he gets a shotgun and just puts the pellets to the face. Now 50% damage reduction is nice and can definitely allow you to not have to be so light speed quick with it, and then, not die as often. So this is a W. I don't know if it's going to drastically make Black Panther better, but it should, make that already elite tier Panthers that much better, and you'll see him more in top in play, my guess. Next, we move on to Blade, and I'm going to be honest, guys. I took Blade from never really playing him to lording him in one season, last season. It was just somebody I haven't messed with, and I'm like, I feel like this guy's being slept on. And I'm going to be honest, I felt like the entire time playing Blade that this guy is so incredibly cracked. Why is no one playing him? And I have carried lobbies and had a lot of fun with him in success, all the way up to Celestial play. I just feel like his whole kit works really well together, and his Blade is finally doing the damage that it should, compared to Shotgun Man. But they're buffing him. Let's see what they're doing. Daywalker's threat level rises. So when wielding Hunter's Shotgun, Daywalker Dash new effect. Slow enemies by 40%. That's what his sword used to do. For 1.5 seconds, increase second hit damage from 20 to 50. That's a big boost. Oh my god. And then when wielding his sword, remove slow effect from enemies and apply 8% healing reduction. So they're swapping effects, and 32 if all those hit is really big for 3 seconds. So his sword, like when that pressure is on, it's reducing damage from 15 to 8 in the dash. When the pressure is on you as a hero, especially like a strategist or whoever it might be, especially like backline too, or Vanguards, like it is constant. That sword slash is is a lot to deal with, and Blade has a lot more survivability than people might think with his block and his dash. And so now adding that healing reduction on the swiping and the sword slashing is way bigger than people think. And I think this is going to be a really big deal with his dashes, and overall is a huge W for the kid. Now, he does take a bit of a nerf. Reduce pellets fired per round of his Hunter's shotgun from 12 to 11. So with that second hit, getting so much damage, they're doing a nerf here. And his damage fall off is now 15 meters, was 20 at 30. Okay, hold on. So his fall off now starts at 15 meters and it was 20. And then at 30 meters, it drops 50% of base and it was 40. So overall, gonna get a little bit nerf on the shotgun. I think this is fine. They're trying to buff the Blade and nerf the shotgun. His name is Blade. I'm good with it. Okay, Daredevil. Here it is. Finally, guys. We had to have it. The Devil of Hell's Kitchen gets a little less punishing. A little less? Okay. Reduce Devil's Chain high damage range damage from 80 to 75. Okay, so gonna affect combos. Reduce Devil's Throw single projectile damage 32.5 to 30. Total from 65 to 60 on a single target. So more damage reduction in overall his snowball combos. Reduce Fury gain from his Devil's Latch when grappling on a surface from 2 to 1. That's the biggest change by far. Anything that can slow down the Fury, and there are people that will swear by you can just button mash the hell out of this guy and still just get your kills. So I don't think this is going to drastically make him worse, which I don't think they should, but this will slow him down a bit, I think, especially with the Fury gain. You have to hit your direct shots much more. He still gets a lot, though. We'll have to see how this one kind of adjusts, and time will tell. But this is still very much a nerf to Daredevil than the current form. All right, Iron Fist, who I already think is good, kind of like baffled that he's getting a buff, but let's see. Lindley's strikes are slightly faster and harder. So increase his primary 4th strike damage from 30 to 35. Don't know why I know this, but I think it's his 5th strike that does the extra damage. His 1 through 4 all do 30. So now he's going to be continually doing way more damage, actually. This will ramp up much faster than just 5. And then increase Dragon's defense maximum duration from 1 second to 1.2. That's a huge buff. Can't be mad about that, man. So he's going to survive longer and deal way more damage, especially to squishies. So for a guy who I didn't think was like in desperate need of a buff, Iron Fist mains like, you know, keep eating, because I know you'll never be on my team. I swear to God, I never get the cracked Iron Fist on my team. I'm always facing him. And then last but not least, we have Namor. More power in his base form, but his team up is toned down. Namor, just like Blade is Shotgun Man, Namor is like team up man. I'd make a shit superhero name, but Namor just doesn't ever feel like he can be played independently, at least right now. Kind of since the Hulk, right? You had the Hulk team up, then Hela's team up, Hela gets banned, Hulk got banned. That was kind of it. If Hela's banned, there's no reason to play him. They're trying to change that. So they're going to reduce his turret single charge time. So just his turret charge from 12 to 10 seconds. So each turret can now be summoned every 10 seconds. Huge buff. That's crazy. I can't believe they're going to go with his turrets. Increase Monstro spawn health from 100 to 125, and it gets a damage increase 17 to 18. That's also a W. He's going to just be a little Torbjorn turret machine. Increase enhanced version. Okay, so when it's doing the super fire rate from 11 to 12. Big W as well. Nothing to the Triton. So all turret love for Namor. But they do touch his team up, and we'll touch on that. Actually, let's just get to that right now. His team up with Hela. Let me look here. Somewhere on here. Okay, his team up with Hela. Deep Wrath. Increased Tidal Dirge cooldown from 20 seconds to 30. Holy God, a big-ass cooldown coming his way. And then reduce Undead Monster damage from 12 to 10, and the enhance from 7 to 6. It's still a very good team up. Hela is a meta hero. Namor is going to be a lot better now. So you still are going to have that, but the 10-second is a huge cooldown increase, and then, dude, those turrets are just insane. I still think she gets banned a fair amount, just being a good hero to begin with, but now Namor is at least more playable. So that's going to do it for the Duelists, which I'm going to spoil another team up. Again, they're getting rid of Human Torch and Spider-Man, and I might be wrong here, but Ever Burning Bond, I thought gave Human Torch a 5% damage increase. I thought it did. If it does, this is the first time someone's losing an anchor and they don't make it up in the numbers. If it doesn't, then, you know, ignore what I'm saying here. But either way, Human Torch could be getting a nerf. I feel like it does give 5%. He's got like 10 team ups. He's got one with the thing as well. So I don't know. Anyway, strategist. Cloak and Dagger. Ty and Dandy's support is getting a shakeup. Healing and flexibility updated. Reduce Dagger Storm healing from 55 seconds to 45. So the bubble is going to go down. Healing per second. That's a big nerf, actually. New effect. When the spell field is created, so when the bubble is thrown, allies in range get a one-time healing of 60. Oh, God. Okay, so you lose 10 healing per second, but you gain an instant 60. That's insane. And then Dagger's Light Force and the Terror Cape get adjustments. These two abilities now share charges. Tapped out at 2, with each taking 12 seconds to recharge. I think it's already at a 12-second cooldown. After using both abilities enter a 2-second cooldown. Holy God, what? Okay, so you can just use 2 Terror Capes in between 2 seconds now? Or you can use the... Okay, this is actually kind of nuts. Using either of these abilities twice in 2 seconds is insanely good. And it's only a buff because, yeah, it takes 12 seconds to recharge, but who cares? This is definitely going to add a lot more healing and a lot more damage and coordination. This is going to make Cloak and Dagger like 100 times better. This is a very good change for them. And I like it. It's not just like making their ult better or whatever. So if you have Cloak and Dagger Lord, which everyone does, congrats. You're going to be able to play them a lot more. And you have the new Lord system. So Gambit, here we go. Gambit. He never folds, but until we make him. The King of Cards takes a hit to his healing and ultimate. Reduce big, easy impact healing, so his little dash per explosion from 25 to 15. Total from 75 to 45. So his overall like escape with healing is going to go down. In addition, Raging Royal Flush is ultimate. The healing's from 75 per second down 20 to 55 per second, which I still think is a fair amount. I thought they were going to get rid of a lot more than this, if I'm being honest. Bridge boost bounces on a single target are now set to a maximum of 2. Oh, okay. All right. I've got to be honest, Gambit's so good that it's just, I need to see how this all, works with his just regeneration in general and his ult charge gain and how the ult feels now. So I don't want to speak on it yet, but I hope they hit him a good amount. Like, I love Gambit. He's my guy. He's like one of my favorite heroes in Marvel lore. But he was too good, clearly, right? And you don't want, like, someone you love too busted. You're not going to be able to play him. I'm banning his ass every time I can. So we'll see how this unfolds. I think this is going to be a pretty solid change, but we'll see how that kind of flushes out. Invisible Woman. Sue Storm is a little less unbreakable, and her protection is a little less potent. Reduce Guardian Shield value from 250 to 200. That's just a flat big nerf. Nice. Reduce shield restoration rate after reclaiming from 45 seconds to 34 per second. Reduce Guardian Shield healing to Invisible Woman from 50 to 25. Okay. So Invis has like 10,000 escapes or invisibility, the push, and then you can now put the shield in front of you to heal yourself for was 50, goes down to 25, which I think is desperately needed. W changes. Who are we kidding though? Like, everybody's just playing Deadpool strategist, right? Rocket Raccoon. Rocket is a bit of a slowdown. Reduce movement during wild crawl from 10 to 8 meters per second. That's going to be kind of nice. I'm not going to lie. As someone who doesn't play Rocket, but just is always trying to get that last damn one on our point, I'm not bad about this. You like super dedicated Rocket people, you're going to feel the impact for sure. I think it'll be a bit easier to land your shots on him when he's crawling around. And then we already talked about the team up changes, but two that we didn't. Loki is going to get a big, significant nerf to the damage boost from Mantis, 25% down to 15%. So that will affect especially the pro scene a lot more. And then Penny does get the team up with Spider-Man, but big loss. Which, does she get an anchor bonus? She has to get something. Oh, no, she does. Okay, she gains 50 health. She's going to get 50 health, which I think they took that from the last time, the last nerf she got. But she loses another nest. Obviously, the other nest was insanely good. Made her very viable in a ton of maps, ton of lineups. Already dominating kind of lower elo. And being seen a lot in higher elo. So this is a huge nerf to Penny. Even though she gets the health, she loses a whole nest. Rocket's played all the time. So big nerf to Penny. Now, quickly, for those that are like main watchers of the channel, this is for you guys to stick around. So a couple things. There's a lot of videos that I want to put out that I don't have the time for. and I have so many different ideas, so sometimes I like to run things past y'all. So 2 separate ideas. One is I want to do hero guides that aren't just like 30-minute in-depth guides, but more like 2 to 5 minute, you know, highlights, combos, everything you need to know very quickly. Because sometimes, like, I don't know if you're trying to queue and you want to like learn Angela, just the, you know, pure basics, the maps she works on best, whatever. 2-minute, 5-minute, you know, kind of role queue guides and the essential stuff. So that's a series I want to do. And then also I want to work with somebody that I'm going to have them put together like the craziest cracked, you know, probably 10 best Blade players and get the best plays in the world. And we don't just react to one game, but more of like the craziest Blade plays of all time. And I go through some of the heroes and do that. A lot of content, and want to do more react content like that. I will be streaming with my new studio and doing a lot more, you know, play as I grind up through Celestial and beyond. Now I'm going to have more time to play, so I'm excited about that. Anyway, guys, I'm on a ramble, but I always want to share with my audience. And I don't know if I should put it on this channel, a whole new channel. I don't know. Just want to say, like, I appreciate you guys so much for all the support in year 1. It's been insane. And there you guys go. That is all of the changes. So I think relatively kind of a, I don't want to say like lackluster patch. I do think there's a lot of things addressed here. We have to see kind of how it works out. Last time I did not do the side-by-side video, and that was because the way that essentially we used to get, you know, access to the server like a full week before, and now it's like a day before, and I forgot to record them last time. So I will try and aim to do that this time. A lot of stuff to cover with Deadpool, so that's gonna be my focus, but we will get side-by-sides for you guys, and that is all of our changes. Let me know down below what you think is the biggest changes, least impactful, and all that good stuff. And again, if you haven't, guys, trying to grow this thing up to above 150,000 subs, so subscribe if you enjoy the content. It's free and it helps a ton. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Have a great one. Till the next one. Happy rifling.